Perfect. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 4 o'clock. Is Lauren available?
No, I think she's still driving from the Giga, so I'm happy to do the roll call. If you want to mention
Awesome.
the public comment stuff at the very top there.
Yeah, so basically, I'll read this real fast, but for those wishing to make public comment, please email their public comment to educationalliance@washoeschools.net. We will be monitoring that. So anyway, I will say welcome to everybody that is on the phone. Do we have special guests, just so we know? Do we have?
We do.
Great. Can you inform us as to who they might be?
Absolutely, Eric. I'm welcoming Dr. Chris Turner, the Washoe County School District Chief of IT, and he'll have a more formal introduction here later under 2.02. But welcome, Chris.
What was that last part?
I just said welcome to Chris.
And I waved back.
Yes, welcome, Chris.
Pardon me.
All right. Let's see. I'm still going to try to log in with my phone, but in the meantime, I'm just going to move forward with this. Okay, so with that being said, Kendall, do you mind doing the roll call?
Not at all. I will say your name and then just say present or here or yo or whatever you feel like. Natha Anderson.
And here.
Thank you. Dave Bianchi.
Here.
Debbie Beiersdorf.
Here.
Brent Boynton.
Virtual.
Christine Brown. I think she's going to join us in a minute. Melissa Burnham. Absent. Joe Klein.
Here.
Melissa Dedmond.
I'm here.
Marluz Garcia.
I'm here.
Lauren Garfinkel. She's still driving. I'm here. Landon Miller.
Present. Hello.
Hi, Landon. Chris Morgan.
Yo.
Oh, Charles Pasillas. He's going to be a little late. Michelle Sanchez Bickley.
Here.
Eric Sheets.
Present.
And Jill Tolles. All right, she's supposed to be here. Maybe she's going to be a little late.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Excellent. All right. All right. Well, the first item would be action to adopt the agenda. Just as a reminder, for purposes of notes and records, please state your name when you're mentioning the motion as well as the second. And then, of course, we'll have discussion and vote. So anyway, with that being said, I'll go ahead and start in on number 2. Do we have any public comment prior to that? Brittany?
Hey, Eric, we got to have a motion and a second and a vote on adopting the agenda.
All right. Okay,
Hi, this is Landon Miller. I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda, please.
This is Dave Bianchi.
I'll second
that.
All right, thank you all. Okay, is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and hold the vote. All those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Or signify.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any in dissension? All right, any abstention? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. So we'll go ahead and move forward with this agenda as noted. All right, now we'll go to Brittany and ask for public comment. Brittany, do we have any public comment?
We have one public comment from Jeff Church, and that will be arriving in your inboxes shortly for you to review.
Okay. Do we need to do anything in regards to that, Kendall?
No, just
we
invite
just
our
read it?
board members to read that public comment. We just have to read the names out.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll move on. This is actually my favorite item of of the last few weeks, honestly. But can we get an update and discussion on the distance learning laptop drive? And also, of course, we'd like to introduce Dr. Chris Turner. He's the new CIO for technology. And with that, Kendall, would you mind giving us the great information?
Absolutely. But first, Eric, we have to approve the minutes. That's the 2.01 on the agenda. If you could ask for a motion in a second and a vote on that before I roll into
There we go. Yep. All right. Sorry. Okay. So we'll go ahead and look at the minutes from August 24th. Does anybody want to make a motion for that?
I move that we approve the minutes. This is Brent.
All
This
right.
baby ain't, I'll second that.
Excellent. All right. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor, please vote aye or say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Anybody in the negative? All right. Not hearing any. Anybody in abstention? Nope. All right. Hearing all the ayes, the motion passes. And now we'll go to 2.02.
Awesome. This is my favorite part. So for the record, at 4:06, we welcome Lauren Garfinkel. I don't know if you're still on the road, Lauren, or not, but we recorded your arrival.
Hi, everyone.
I am super excited and honored to introduce Dr. Chris Turner to our wonderful board of directors. The Education Alliance welcomes you, Dr. Turner, to our community. Chris comes from Michigan. He spent the last 7 years or so as the director of technology for the Brighton area schools, about 6,000 students, I think, pre-K through 12. And I understand from your LinkedIn also that you were a high school social studies teacher, a librarian and very active in libraries, and a wrestling coach. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Kendall, for that full biographical introduction. That's right. This is my 26th year in education. Started off as a librarian in education. Actually, I was a public librarian for a year in Florida, and then I had the opportunity to get a job at my alma mater back in Michigan and was lured back, and was very happy in that position for 15 years, being a librarian and a wrestling coach, and occasional football coach. And I was elected vice president of the teachers union, and I was the chief negotiator and the grievance chair. So I have a varied background that contributes to my overall lens as an educator and as a school district administrator now. Like I said, 25 years, but I had the opportunity to retire from the state of Michigan, and I'm far too young to be retired, as has been pointed out by one of my daughters. She doesn't want me to be one of those folks that's like some of her friends' parents are retired, and she says that's weird. So of course, I don't need my daughter's advice to continue working. I'm too energetic and too young to pack it all in and maybe go golf full time. So actually, I would still be working in Brighton if it weren't for the opportunity with Washoe County Schools. 30 years ago, I used to live and work in this area when I was down in Yosemite National Park. And so the region naturally drew me, and I was knowing that I had the retirement opportunity, the separation opportunity from Michigan. I'd been looking at jobs out here for the last 6 months or so. Very, very fortunate to be a part of Washoe County Schools. This is my dream job, and I'm in a perfect space with wonderful colleagues, very welcoming place, very supportive, and I've been onboarded very informatively and very kindly. So for that, I'm quite thankful. Like Kendall also said, I'm the married father of 4. I have last December, my oldest graduated from the University of Michigan, unfortunately from there. And then I have a son that's sort of in a gap year, and we're working with him on narrowing his vocational and educational choices. And then I have a senior and a junior at McQueen High School. I settled in Northwest Reno. My wife is a registered nurse, and she works here locally at Renown, which we're very thankful for. Her employment mobility was what made this all happen. You know, if things were slightly different, I wouldn't even have put this to a vote, but happily I have a very adventurous family, and they were willing to jump in. And when they saw pictures of Lake Tahoe, they said, yeah, let's go. So that's me in a personal and a career sense. So bringing it forward to Washoe County, I'd like to talk about briefly just some of the challenges and some of the opportunities that we have. Obviously, one of my guiding principles is equity, and that especially hits home in academics and in technology. So how do we as a department, how do we as a district ensure that all of our students have equal access, necessary access to devices and to connectivity? So those are the issues that drive us every day. And thankfully, we're part of this statewide effort that ensures that all of our students has a laptop and has a connection to school. We're not 100%, and we work every day and every week to ensure that we're getting closer and closer. But what we do know is we've contacted well over 99.5% of our enrolled students. So we have that piece that we can fall back on. We have established contact. In terms of connectivity, we're real close in terms of making sure that all of our students have an internet connection. What we're waiting on, one of our big challenges is every school district in the country was going through what we went through too. When they shut down and went to remote learning, everybody wanted to buy a laptop. And so how do we do that in this time of scarcity? Well, we rely on people with connections like Kendall, because she has the enduring sort of energy and personality and connections that can get those things done. So we appreciate everything Kendall has done for us so far. But we've got to get to the point where we're at 100% compliance with the students that we've contacted and ensuring that they all have devices and connectivity. One of our other challenges is something that's going through the board right now is our strategic technology plan. I inherited the plan when it was maybe 2/3 of the way done, and we're trying to get that through board approval. And what we've decided was our process was incomplete. We needed to identify ways to fund technology moving forward. We can't just advocate for technology's use in the classroom. We have to also be able to sustain it. And so that question of sustainability is what caused us to split our strategic technology plan initiative at the board level into twos. First, we talked about the plan itself and what we'll do. We'll follow up in November with a plan for sustainability. I'm having those conversations with the money people and the operations people now, and we're trying to identify ways that we can make this sustainable. So I appreciate those conversations with Mark Mathers and Pete in operations. And finally, one of our challenges is just keeping technology running, as our Office 365 just failed this afternoon, and we're receiving notifications from Microsoft that, of course, it's not Washoe County's technology, it's Microsoft's assets that failed us today. So I can always
Panasonics too, same thing happened to us.
I can point fingers instead of not at us, it's somebody else's stuff. And I already hinted at this. I talked about the challenges. What I prefer to talk about is opportunities. It's what I've found here, and since I started July 1st, is there's tremendous support. The opportunities here are boundless, because, you know, one of the first meetings I had, one of the first people I met outside of the department was Kendall. The Education Alliance, all of the partnerships that have been established, all the members have been so beneficial to Washoe County Schools already. When I look at the statistics on what has already been purchased and all the creativity that Kendall's used in order to lure in those devices from the vendors has been tremendous. Nearly $200,000 in purchases, devices already in students' hands. we've been just tremendously fortunate to be a part and a partner with the Education Alliance partners and members. And when I look at the board of directors and the membership, I see people represent. I see membership representing healthcare and local businesses, local industry, and also K-16 educators. So I like how diverse the group is. It's not just a bunch of, it's not what we see in typical educational organizations, which is like ex-educators or something. It spans all industries. And so for that, I think is a tremendous benefit to the Education Alliance. And I'm happy to be here and happy to speak. And I thank Kendall for the opportunity to introduce myself. So that's enough. I talked enough, unless you have questions.
Thanks, Chris. Welcome.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you. You obviously have a huge task that you're dealing with, and who would have expected all the COVID complications, but we are very fortunate to have you here, and of course we want to support you as well as we can, so please let us know. And I know Kendall's been right in your corner.
Yeah, like I said at the outset, the partnership with the Education Alliance and all of their partners has paid dividends to all of our students, and we're so much better off right now than we would be without the Education Alliance's support. So happy to partner up with them.
That's awesome.
Hey, Chris, my name is Landon, and I've been on the board here for about a year, a little bit more than that. It's awesome meeting you. My question for you is, and this is just maybe me just being curious, but obviously coronavirus will come and go. But what does technology look like for the Washoe County School District 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I mean, will we ever go back to a period, in your opinion, before pre-COVID where everyone was back in school? Or do you think that we might have some sort of maybe online learning as a whole within the district will be more supported now moving forward? What do you think about that?
Well, I think, so I don't know if I'm allowed to answer that. That might be more of a Deb response than myself. In curriculum and programming and overall administration of the district. But what I can say is the way that we respond to our COVID shutdown and our transition to the 3 different models of learning, where we were either all in school, which is K-5, or a hybrid environment, or the full distance learning. And our district is split very, very evenly between the 3 models, about 20,000 students involved in or enrolled in one of the 3 programs. What we're doing is, unfortunately, as I referenced my daughter earlier, what we're doing is we're preparing for the opportunity to never really have a cancellation again. We will be in a space where if there's an air quality problem, if there is a power outage, or if there's a weather cancellation, that doesn't mean that school and academics, teaching and learning will be canceled from now on. I think that means no more sleeping in and no more sledding. It will mean that, those aren't lost days anymore. And I think that's important because it speaks to what Washoe County is already doing. I know we started a week later than we normally do this year, and that was just to get us prepared for COVID, but or for our return to school from the COVID shutdown. But we're already approaching what I would consider a balanced calendar where we have far less time off in the summer. And so any way that we can get more balanced and provide more opportunities for our students to learn, whether, no matter what the environment is, they'll be the better off for it. And, speaking to that in the post-COVID environment, perhaps what we've done is we've created, and this again is just the IT chief, it's not curriculum or administration speaking, but we have perhaps created the blueprint for a model of online learning going forward. We already have that program in the North Star program. Is that the correct name, Deb? So we already have that model. Now what we've done is we've done little bits of flipping classrooms and little bits of hybrid learning that might be necessary for us to speak to what you're asking about.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you.
All right. Well,
I have a
yeah,
question.
go ahead, Kendall.
Hey, Eric, or Chris, I got a question for you. Just kind of looking at the future, and I know you're dialed in federally and state-wise. Does it look like there's going to be more funding to sustain the kind of, technology? Because obviously a laptop's good as long as it lasts, but then there's needs to be that sustainability piece coming though from the federal level of education, or, funding that's like regular ongoing sustainability dollars. Does it look like that's in the forecast?
Well, I guess that would be a question maybe better suited for Lindsay Anderson in the government affairs division. What I'm seeing doesn't seem hopeful. Like it seems like some of our, we're being told that the grants for which we're applying to receive some of our, support personnel or extra technology, they have to be fulfilled by a certain date. So it doesn't seem like the grants are sustainable. It seems like they're more incidental to the COVID shutdown. But what we're also noticing is we need bigger voices to advocate for not just how school district operations continue with providing devices to our students as part of our day-to-day instruction, but we need like this larger initiative that ensures that things that I've talked about before in other interview situations, where we start to think about internet connectivity as more of an essential rather than just an added bonus in affluent households. Getting people connected can mean so many more things than just entertainment, just streaming your Netflix. It means that you're able to pay bills more efficiently. It means you're able to access all types of resources, whether it's school related or otherwise, that are essential to day-to-day modern living. And we need to make sure that everybody in our community has access to those online resources. So how do we do that? Those are the questions we're grappling with. That's the stuff that's up on my whiteboard. How we create exterior Wi-Fi outside of our school buildings, how we create partnerships with the UNR and the city of Reno to share our external Wi-Fi resources. We're thinking creatively in those ways all the time, and that's my short and long-term to-do list.
Well, I'm thinking of it as my hat is my fundraising hat, and as your allies here on this wonderful board, what component is going to be privately funded, and what or it's going to be necessary to be privately funded, I suppose. And I'm sure Jill might be able to throw in a few comments about. She's been very active in sitting in on the interim group, and I can't remember the name of it, but just discussing education and so forth, and the technology issues and all the issues really. And my other question was, and maybe Debbie, but is WC1, is that, maybe Jill, you too, I should maybe know this, but is WC1, our computers, our district property computers fall under WC1 as a capital expenditure? I'm just kind of curious about that.
Well, I will. Hi, everyone, and thanks, Chris. Chris is smiling because I'm going to be very careful how I answer.
Yes, please.
So WC1. So when our new schools that have opened up. So this year we opened up a new middle, Hers Middle, and Bohatch Elementary. The devices that were purchased for those schools came under the umbrella of WC1. It's a little tricky when you talk about refresh, even though it's school district property. There's really, really tight, stringent rules about what's allowed under WC1. I am not the expert in WC1, Kendall, for sure. That's why I'm going to be super careful about what I say, and Chris might be able to better fill in on that. But it's helping our new schools for sure. But then as we think about refresh, which we have the refresh program, and you're going in front of the board, Chris, right, in November 10th, is that right?
I can't remember if it's the first November meeting or the second, but these are the questions that, as Deb sets it up, these are the questions that we have to answer at that board meeting. And these are the conversations I'm having in finance and in operations right now, because, you know, Deb answered it perfectly. WC1 is purchasing technology currently as part of the capital projects of opening a school. How do we just set a school down and open it for operation? And part of it is the devices that students will be using. Capital projects is also, the WC1 is also paying for these tremendous technology infrastructure projects like new Wi-Fi devices, new cabling in buildings, switches and routers, all the back end stuff, all the stuff that you tend to not see or notice that might be buried in a wall. But Deb also acknowledged the fact that you know, it might not be best practice, or it might not be perceived as best practice to use capital monies like WC1 for operational costs, like the replacement of a laptop when it wears out in 4 to 7 years. So that's what we're grappling with. So, and if it's not going to be WC1 money, we have to identify other monies. And like I said, there is a perception problem, and I have an opinion about using capital monies for technology, like the device technology like that. It's probably better suited for another space.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for that update. I want to add a couple of things. Go ahead.
Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. What did you say? More questions?
Yeah, I was just asking if there was any other questions. Nope.
All right. I do want to mention some great news. In fact, let me grab this. Kendall and I were able to meet with the Grand Sierra last week, and they gave us $10,000 towards the laptop drive. So anyway, that's good news for the whole school district. But Chris, I'm sure you like hearing that too. Anyway, I'll set that back down. But anyway, Andrew Diss and the team over there were instrumental in getting that for us. We're continuing to push forward, and it's amazing seeing all the partners in education that are supporting this cause. And I think a lot of people realize how difficult it is for families that need to be working and, still provide a way for their kids to, have that education outlet. So I think this is serving a great need. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Kendall?
I have a report, but first I want to give Chris a round of applause because he has stepped into the middle of craziness, has been smiling the whole time, has been so joyful to work with and helpful and respond to my texts and my emails and my phone calls. And I just can't thank you enough, Chris, for being such an amazing partner so that I can share the word about what's going on and how the district's handling this with the news and with all the people that are so generous in our community that want to help. And I want to give them good answers, and you're there for me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Thank you, Kendall. It's my honor and pleasure to work with you and try and get connectivity and devices to our students.
Awesome. Well, I have some more good news to share about the distance learning laptop drive. We did just a brief update. We have about 130 donors who have given just about $475,000, almost $500,000 since we started April 1. We just ordered another 425 laptops that are going to come to your place, Chris, here. Probably it was shipped last Friday. So I imagine any day there'll be another 425 laptops for students, which is pretty cool. Congratulations, Eric, on getting that $10,000 gift from GSR. We did a kind of a campaign for all our Run for Education sponsors. We usually have around 50 in-kind and financial sponsors. 30 of them are cash last year, and 13 of them have redirected their Run sponsorship money toward the laptop drive. 7 have increased, and GSR is one of them. In fact, we did not have them as a sponsor last year, 2019, but in 18 they were a $1,500 donor, and this year they're a $10,000 donor, which is huge. So the total given from our Run redirected campaign is about $65,100. So I thought that's up about almost 25,000 from last year from these particular donors. So I think that's super cool news. I did email you the links to the news coverage. Our partners in the media have been so good about covering every step of the way, what we're doing, what the district's doing, how we're working together, how we're working with community donors. Great coverage of Assistance League of Reno Sparks, their big gift for 432 laptops, the Neutron Group. And Chris, I want to thank you for being there. I'm the one saying thank you, it seems like all the time. And I look to this board, please thank people, please back me up. And they need a new voice, they need a new face or something. And I appreciate you being there as often as you can. And Debbie, you're the same. You're there to thank our donors. And I know it means a lot to them to have you there, if it's just a second. And we just had a new video from United Way of Northern Nevada and the Sierra. That was a micro grant. We were on the news for that. Nevada Business Magazine couple times, and This is Reno articles. That's from our partnership with the Support Our Students. They're the formerly Save Our Schools group, the WC1 group. So they have some great press coverage. I don't know if you had a chance to see it in your spare time between 2 and 4 a.m. in the morning. Face the State 2 News. I was really excited to be on Face the State. And the good news is it was a great overall coverage about the Education Alliance's work, not just the laptop drive. So I think we'll be using that footage. I suppose we can reuse it, Brittany, I don't know. But it was a really good overview. Please, I'd love your feedback. I will not get hurt feelings at all. If you have any comments or points.
I just want to note on that Kendall did such a phenomenal job with that. Like, I sent it to all of our leadership. They were just really impressed, not just with you, Kendall, but with everything that Ed Alliance does too. So I think that piece is really important to push out, especially for, our organization, moving forward, not even just as a marketing piece, but like, this is it really, her whole thing with Ariana was really who we are, what we do, and why. And I just thought it was really impactful. So great job, Kendall.
Thank you. I couldn't do it without you all cheering me on and so forth. And really the good work that you're doing makes it easy for me to brag about and talk about and share. And we stay focused on students and teachers, principals and schools, and it makes it easy to just kind of focus in. Another one that just came through, we got a shout out on Senator Catherine Cortez Mastos newsletter. Brittany, help me out. Was it a video? It was a weekly video or a monthly video that she puts out, and they had asked us for, where are we and what are we doing kind of thing. And so that was kind of a neat thing. We have also been selected, this is a big deal, out of the 400 or so nonprofit charities, active ones in Northern Nevada, we have been selected by Microsoft Reno for their Microsoft's annual Give campaign, us and 4 other charities. This is huge. The kickoff, it's for the entire month. So Microsoft Reno produces several local fundraising events and kind of activities with their employees. And this happens nationally, maybe even, I know probably just nationally. Little games and different auctions and raffles and things for their employees to participate in. And so Education Alliance will benefit from 2 events happening the entire month. One of them is called Giving Games. And I think what it is, the concept is the employees play a game and they have to pay to play the game, and portion of their proceeds come to us, and a sweepstakes, which is a raffle. Not only that, any gift, any charitable donation by a Microsoft employee to Education Alliance or any charity is matched 100% by the company. So they've already done quite a bit for us with this laptop job, but it's a super, super fun event. It's different, of course, under COVID protocols, but I think they're going to have just as much fun. So if you know anybody at Microsoft, you let them know. My final kickoff, the ending of this report is super cool. I have a video to show you. I'm so excited. It's a truly moving video, in my opinion. It's of the laptop drive. It's produced by Jeff Foss, Washoe County School District communications videographer extraordinaire. Jeff, if you're listening, thank you for helping us tell the story of the need and also connecting and celebrating our community. In this video, they challenge all of us to join in supporting our students in need. And I think it's super well done. So I'm going to share my screen with you and play a video for you. So if you have a little over 3 minutes to watch this, I'd love it. And then we'll be pushing it out to the rest of the world.
You get the power supply and a carrying case.
We do this because we care about our community. And we care very deeply about how the children in our community are able to utilize technology to get an education. Well, the community benefits when the students have computers because as we educate our young people into the gig economy and what the economy that's to come, it depends upon being computer literate.
It's going to make a huge difference for the students. We've been about 20 brand new computers today, courtesy of the Education Alliance. We worked with our counselors and our family graduation advocate to find the right fit for the families. Every student needs a device. And so we have 1,500 students at Galena, not the biggest school, but not the smallest school. But we also have a big need for devices. And so this type of event helps us out quite a bit.
I've never had my own computer. I've been borrowing like a computer from the school. I had like my mom's phone because my mom's computer is like really old and it's not compatible with Microsoft. Right. So I had to use her phone. Just to like have my own laptop, like that's really nice. Especially to write essays and stuff. Yeah.
Having their own, especially in high school, that they need to accrue their credits, this is perfect. If she can get on here at school or anywhere she is, I know that's going to make a huge difference for her. So yes, definitely.
We're very proud to do this, and we're very proud to be working in conjunction with the Education Alliance and ITS Logistics to get these computers, get them refurbished.
We just felt the need that we had to do something as one of the leaders in the community to reach out and challenge fellow businesses to participate in a laptop computer drive. We donated used equipment here at ITS. We donated money at ITS. I donated personally. I know my fellow founders donated personally. So everyone got behind it, but we couldn't have done what we've done without starting the fire to really get the community involved.
Almost a decade now that we've been working with Education Alliance, and because we believe in supporting our youth in our Northern Nevada area, we wanted to make sure we were still supporting financially and through donation of computers. They need all the help they can get. I have a 9-year-old at home and the distance learning has been difficult to say the least, but because of things like what the Education Alliance does for our kids, he's able to motor through and figure things out and still have a good experience with school.
A number of months ago, my husband's Rotary Club found out that the school district was in need of computers for distance learning. I was thinking we had to do something this year for Links to Learning. We ended up pulling our funds to be able to buy these computers for the school district. We've always been blessed to be able to have this money for Links to be able to help teachers in the classrooms. I am a former school teacher, and our current president is a former school teacher. So we are always happy to do that. That's our life, you know. This is what we've devoted most of our adult life to.
Did you get one too?
Yeah. We're doing things that have never been done before. And I can't say enough about the teachers and the staff and the students and the families. They're all adapting, and we adapt every single day.
These are challenging times. We have a lot of young people out there that still don't have technology at home. So we're asking the community to help step up.
Isn't that amazing? It's super cool. Anyway, that's my DLLD report to all of you. That video is available if you'd like to share it with anyone, and I would encourage you to do so on your social media platforms, with your companies, whatever you feel comfortable with. Thank you, Jeff. Eric, you're muted.
That was very well done.
Thank you, Charles. I thought so.
You're right, I was muted. Anyway, great job, Kendall. That was awesome.
I didn't do it. It was Jeff and Brittany and all of our donors. We also expect to do, we've been offered to do, we've been told that we have clearance to also produce one at the end when we're celebrating. And I want to interview every one of our donors. I want them to be, I don't know what it's going to look like, but the Washoe Education Association and all of the organizations that have donated, all of you who have donated toward this effort, we're going to celebrate, and we know we're going to celebrate. There'll be it may not be the total end of the drive ever, but we're definitely going to celebrate when it looks very close to having every child with a technology in their home.
That's great.
Oh, Kendall, this is Dave. I just want to, again, this is the second time I've seen that video. Excellent, excellent video. I just wanted to mention a juxtaposition that Doris Clevey, who was representing the Assistance League, happens to be on our patio right now as we speak. Lois, meeting about something else. So I just thought that was interesting.
Awesome. She hasn't even seen it yet. I had to show my leadership first. So you're the hot off the press. That's all of you getting to see it first. That's cool, Dave. Thank you.
That's great. So I'm going to ask something of all the board. It's same ask I did last month, but basically Kendall sent us a Google link with the sponsors from last year's run. And if you could go on that and please pick a couple names on there that would that you would be willing to contact and just say, I mean, first off, dropping a line in with them and being a continual communication avenue for that sponsor is great. But see if they'll redirect. Like I said, or like Kendall said, we've gotten quite a few to redirect so far, and that's how GSR came through. So anyway, please go to that Google Doc, pick a couple, and it's live. So, you guys can tag team if you want to, but all the extra efforts and assistance really helps.
I'll send it out again for you also. And one other thought, be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Is there anything else anybody would like to say on 2.02? I'm going to go ahead and move on to 2.03, which is update and discussion on the structure, programs, and working groups of the Education Alliance as they pertain to the 2020 and 2021 year. First off, I would like you to, I'm going to ask for another thing here, but we do this every year. As you know, the Community Foundation gives out 100% giving board award every year. And we have been very successful. We've gotten that for as long as I can remember, but we'd love to do the same again this year. And I especially want to thank Dave Bianchi, Debbie, and Melissa Dedman, and Mara Luz, and Kendall. Kendall, I mean, you're working for us and you're giving. That's amazing. So, and that's not a small amount. That's awesome. I know I'm giving 1,000. If other people can do that, that's great. If you can give $10, that's great. But please consider that, and we need to get that in pretty quick because we do like to be considered for that giving board award too. It's not for that specifically by any means, but it's a nice plus. So anyway,
what is the deadline for that?
October 15th.
October 15th. Thank you.
That's
Is
coming.
there an easier way we can get that to you, Kendall, other than like dropping off a check?
You can go online on our donate page also, and it's just a credit card. I think any credit card. There is a fee if you do it that way, and we actually ask really nicely if you'll consider paying the fee. I don't remember what the percent is, just so that 100% of your donation goes. That's how I've done it in the past. Or you can just drop or mail a check, whatever's easiest for you.
Okay.
Really easy online. That's how I donated.
All right, well, thank you all. Okay, so moving on to 2.04.
Hey, Eric, I have a couple other small little things under 2.03.
Okay.
I'm sorry, a couple things. Update on the teacher's warehouse. You had asked last month, and I may have emailed it, but the teacher's warehouse is open for donations and shopping. It's open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 to 5 for donations, and they've got a pallet that's outside the door that you just place your gift, your whatever you're donating on that pallet, and then Gary will do a receipt if you want one. They're keeping it outside, I think, for a certain period of time and trying to isolate it for a couple of days or whatever before they unload it. And then the teachers are allowed now to shop for free. Same dates, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 3 to 5 o'clock, I think, or 5:30, 10 at a time, masks required and so forth. So yeah, so we're back in business on the teacher's warehouse. And then just an update on our secretary. I want to shout out my Ed Alliance team of one, Brittany, and also our Redfield Community Outreach coordinators who are also covering phones and picking up the work that we don't have a secretary right now. So thank you very much for doing that. The position has now been posted externally. So anyone can apply for this position. We're getting very promising candidates. It is also pinned on our Facebook and our Twitter. If you'd like to share it, that'd be lovely of you. And then website contact us page, our website on the contact us page, there's a link to where to apply. It's all electronic through the school district. So I hope by within the next couple of weeks, we'll have some interviews and then we'll be able to introduce the new person to you. That's it.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to 2.04. Joe, would you like to give us an update on P16?
Yeah, so I'm giving an update on behalf of Melissa Burnham, who is the designated P16 reporter. So some information from our last P16 meeting, which was on August 26th. At that meeting, we had some updates on how the district and the other educational institutions are handling COVID and on the computer drive. But the main order of business, it was a working meeting, was to have the participants in the P16 Council look at this long-term project, this research paper, looking at how Washoe County's demographics affect its status in the state and nationally in terms of educational outcomes. And so in that meeting, we solicited, maybe I should back up. The last time I gave this report, I said that we were going to finish that research paper, and we gave them a near final draft to review. And the P16 participants gave us quite a bit of helpful feedback, especially from Laura Davidson from the district, Amy Fleming from EDON, Mark Anderson from NVIE, but some of the other regulars, Mary Albert, David Dells, Debbie Byersdorf, others chimed in. So we got a lot of good feedback, and the working group revised this research paper, this white paper, using that feedback, and we came up with what we believe is a final version of this report, which I hoped to be looked at this meeting or a soon upcoming board of directors meeting. But the executive committee wanted us to actually get some feedback from the parent university program, because one of the superstars, I think, that addresses some of the demographic challenges, some of the superstar programs that we have in the district, is this parent university program that addresses how what we have in Washoe County and the state of Nevada is a deficit in parent educational attainment, which can explain a lot of the challenges that we face, we believe, in our district in terms of student outcomes. So we have indeed reached out to the parent university program, Delisa Crane and Maria Hernandez. We'll be meeting with them on Friday to talk about their suggestions about how we sort of singled them out as a program that might help us, help Washoe County in terms of addressing some of the factors that our students may encounter in their home environment that parents can address. So we're looking forward to that meeting on Friday. And I think that's sort of a long-term, much longer term goal perhaps than some of the things we've been hearing about today, but I think a critical one.
Hey, Joe, I have a question. Is that a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting? Can I jump in on that one?
There's no reason you can't. Tentatively, I've suggested 8:30 on Friday morning.
And who's invited to that meeting or who's participating, may I ask?
Maria and Delisa, and I hope Eric, although I haven't heard from Eric yet. He's given me a thumbs up there, so I believe it'd be Eric. And Kendall, there's no reason you couldn't participate.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, that's great, Joe. Thank you. And I'll just add, I view this period as kind of a QA, QC. In engineering world, we are very familiar with having our product and then making sure that we address comments. So I think we're doing a prudent thing here and looking at the comments made and making sure that we've, done the best effort to cross our T's and dot our I's, So anyway, but thank you so much, Joe, for all your leadership on that. And I'm looking forward to this P16 where we'll go over that review and then on Friday talk more with parent university folks. But I think this opens up the door, especially with what we're doing with the laptop drive and what I've heard from Debbie and others, that there is, a need for a lot of the parents to understand how to use the technology. And so maybe with our working task force, we can start looking at ways to, assist that and encourage that. And some of it may be as simple as just some YouTube videos, but we want to make sure we talk to Delisa and work with the team there. And I know Debbie has some great comments on that.
Yeah, well, I hope it's a good comment. And I don't know if Chris is still hanging out with us or not, but so when you meet with Delisa on Friday morning, you might want to ask her about the FAST, F-A-S-T. It's a family access kind of not training, I guess it's kind of a Q&A and using devices and Microsoft educational products and all of that. But I was going to add as well, Chris has reached out to Joe Nanini. So Joe, you'll know this, and Landon, you probably know Joe as well, up at the University and the College of Education. And Chris, sorry to put you on the spot on this one, but this is super exciting, because we're not able to bring practicum students into our schools right now, just because we've got to be super careful about how many people we have in any given classroom or any other space. So this is kind of a way to help our practicum students and help our families as well. So I don't know, Chris, did you want to give just kind of like what you've been talking to Joe Nanini about?
Yeah, happy to, Deb. I was connected with Joe in a conversation with Superintendent McNeil. We have, speaking of, some of the themes that I addressed earlier, we have received some inquiries from families that are having challenging times using some of our technology. And sometimes it might be as simple as, you know, a password reset, but sometimes it's the complexity of our learning management system, Teams. And so in an effort to overcome those challenges for families, we're trying to create a family tech support line in some way out of thin air. So, you know, I'm honored and thankful that people think of me as having the resources to be able to do this, having only lived in Reno since July 1st. But, you know, Kristen pointed me towards UNR and some other sources, and Joe was energized by the conversation, and it really just kind of snowballed from there. You know, we're thinking not only about folks in the education department, future interns perhaps for Washoe County School District, but also, you know, branching out to their computer science school for people that are very tech literate, in addition to some of their help desk personnel who perform these same tasks, but on their campus rather than ours. So I have some charges that I have to accomplish, and he's going to talk internally to his department and externally to the other departments, and we're going to connect again and see if we can make this happen, because it's a need and we need to answer to it. So I'm super excited about the energy that Joe brings, because I don't know, he's just contagious.
Thanks, Chris.
So I've got a question, if I may. And thanks, Chris, for the additional thing. Joe, this sounds like a really interesting report. Is it more analysis of the data, or is it advocating for resources to help our kids in our education world? So I kind of got confused with the white paper being discussed, so I wasn't sure exactly.
Yeah, so I hope that you will get a chance to look at it soon, sometime this fall. But like any good research project, it opens more questions than it answers. And indeed, it does. There's 3 recommendations, and 2 of the recommendations are recommendations to launch task forces for future research. But the one most actionable recommendation is to launch some sort of a program to assist parents in providing a home environment and providing leadership to their children, how to be successful. And looking at what other districts are doing in that regard, but in particular, we think Parent University or something like it. We have other programs that address these sorts of things like Dean's Future Scholars or AVID or Gear Up, but Parent University is uniquely focused on the parents as opposed to the students. And what we see in doing this research is that nationally, the thing that is most strongly correlated with how well students are doing on these standardized tests, not just the ACT, but on tests that monitor student progress throughout their educational trajectory, is the level of parent education. So there's something about the home environment for parents who are highly educated that is enabling their students to do well. And we'd like to provide parent families that don't have that advantage, to provide them with the tools that compensate for that educational deficit. I don't know, Nath, if that answers your question.
It did. Thank you very much for that clarification.
So we're not focusing solely on Parent University, but we see it as the closest thing we have, the best tool we have right now in Washoe County. But there's other, one of the things we've done is to broaden the report to finger other programs that might be able to help with this besides Parent University. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe. Again, a lot of hard work in that, and well over a year of work. So anyway, does anybody else have any other questions on 2.04? Otherwise, we'll move on to item 3. All right. Item 3 is closing item. So Next meeting will be November 30th at 4 p.m. We'll, of course, be watching what the governor states and following those recommendations, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same exact forum. Moving on to 4, Brittany, do we have any other? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm doing it.
Oh, Brittany, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
All right. And I did see Jeff's email there. And anyway,
thank you, Eric.
as you're able. I'm sorry, Kendall.
Nope, that's it.
Oh, okay. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I do want to thank everybody for their time. It is 5 o'clock. We've done this in an hour. So have a great week and think about how we can support the education system.
Have a good day. Thank you.